G'day punters, it's Friday morning. Welcome to Victims of the Punts, joined by Mark Shean and Mark Rhoden as always. Mark Shean, I'll start with yourself. This is a pretty handy looking card from a point of view in terms of there's new horses coming back. There's a few little resumers and a Group 2 feature race in the Missile Stakes as well.
Yeah, we're getting away from the winter stock a little bit now with the return of some good horses. We've got a couple of stakes races there, Missile Stakes and the Rosebud. Of course, a lot of these horses will hope to progress towards the Golden Rose. So we've got an interesting couple of weeks coming up for sure.
Absolutely. In terms of the weather, are you expecting anything particular there at Randwick on Saturday?
Well, we've got a beautiful day at the moment. Rail comes back into the 5 metre range, and that penetrometer looks pretty low. So I think we're going to be on a pretty hard surface unless they turn the taps on.
Oh, don't say that. Don't even give them the idea, please, Mark.
Absolutely.
Well, I did see the track manager yesterday said they're going to assess the track after the trials this morning. So, there is a chance they might have the hose out. You never know.
No. Okay.
Mark Rhoden, welcome. Did you have any thoughts leading into this program at all?
Not really. I suppose the rail movement's an interesting one. 12 to 5, which is very unusual. Obviously, they're having to do things a bit differently with so much racing at Randwick coming up. I mean, we saw last week that they were getting, the widest horses were advantaged in the last 3 races anyway. Whether that's the case again with the rail back into the 5 metre position, I don't know. I think with freshish ground, they've had 2 meetings where it's been 9 and 12, so back to 5. That's probably newish ground inside. So I wouldn't be surprised to see on paces get their chance at least early.
Okay. As always, we are previewing the Quaddie legs, and we'll have a chat to Mark Shean at the very end about some of the trialers that he's seen over the previous couple of weeks. But we'll start off with race 7, which is the Missile Stakes. In terms of the market, the best available. Fasika, $2.60. Colding is $4.60. Viridine, $5.50. Fobita, $7. Chat is $10, and upwards for the other two there. Mark Shean, I'll give you the new ball. Any thoughts here in the Missile?
I think the inside draw will aid Fasika here. I think barrier number 1 with that rail out might be the place to be. Colding, if he'd drawn a little bit better, certainly would have been my selection, but I think they may be a little bit negative with him at the jump and go back, which might just give Fasika enough of a break. I think probably Riadini and Fobiter, depending on how he jumps, will roll forward as well. But I think Fasika from that inside draw certainly gets her chance. She won first up last time, admittedly on a rain-affected track, and then got taken on in front at Eagle Farm last time out, and she was the only survivor of the leaders there. So I think if she gets a decent run here, should be hard to beat. I think Colding's the better horse, but he's a big gross type, and from that barrier, as I said, he might be a little bit negative on him, so maybe giving a little bit of a start.
Okay. Mark Rhoden, any thoughts there to start the Quaddie?
Pretty similar. I think Fasika's the one to beat. I think the price is about right. Colding's certainly the class runner. Giving him all a bit of weight under the set weights and penalties, but he's certainly the class runner. But yes, as Chris Waller told himself, when they draw outside, they like to generally go back, and obviously got other targets in mind for this horse, so they don't necessarily need to be putting him into the race and winning tomorrow. I think it does set up well for Fasika from Colding, and then honestly the other 6 of them almost in a bunch. To be honest, I couldn't find a great deal. Didn't have really a pick out of those. Look, if the market wants to risk Fasika for one reason or another, I'd probably back it, but at this stage, not a betting race for me.
Okay. Race 8 on the card is the Listed Rosebud over 1,100 metres. We've got Remark for Team Hawkes favourite around the $3.30 mark. Sky Command's $4.20. We've got Paul L and In the Congo at $6 a piece. Maltai at $8. Mazu at $9. Interesting set of names there. Very foreign. Mark Shean, your thoughts in the Rosebud?
Well, it looks to be good speed drawn wide here. I think Maltai will probably roll forward, and Mizzou on his inside. He's a bit of a hard goer, so they should come across from wide alleys. That should give Remark a good run back on the fence if that is the place to be. In the Congo, just on the back of the speed. Look, I don't mind In the Congo at the price. Probably 1,100 a touch on the short side, but I think he sets up to get a nice run here, and I think Remark, they're the two that I think will fight it out. But I think in the Congo's a nice horse. He beat Mizzou in a trial the other day. Probably has a bit of residual fitness from the winter. And Remark as the danger from barrier number 1. Of course, he came through a very strong race there in the Todman, which was probably one of the strongest colts races through the season. Had a little bit of a setback going into that. Won at Rosehill at his first start. Did a lot of work there. Didn't run any time, so that's a bit of a query, but he should set up nicely from the draw. So 7 from 3 for me in race 8.
Do you have any sort of yard profile in any of these, Mark? Was there anything that really took your eye in their first preparation that you're looking forward to seeing resume?
Palili played up badly first up at Rosehill, got very much on the toe, and then was a lot better before it won the kindergarten. So, and Mizzou's another one which looks to have sweated up quite badly before its both trials. So I think those two from the yard would certainly be watchers. In the Congo's a magnificent type from what I've seen of him. I've seen him parade a couple of times, and Remark, well, he looked fairly forward last time in when he resumed, so he was on a golden slipper path there and was ready to go. I think the way they've ridden him in 2 trials would suggest that they've got him up and running and ready to go. So, queries on 1 and 2 from the yard for me.
Okay. Mark Rhoden, your thoughts here?
Yeah, I'm within the Congo as well. I think he's really nicely weighted in this. And appears to map well. And then he's equal third favourite. I've got him on top personally, so I'll be backing him, I think. I think Remark, look, it wouldn't surprise me at all to see him win. I think he's set up to win this rather than maybe other targets later on. But I think he's being priced a little bit on potential on my figures anyway. I think he's been pushed forward by the market. I'd have to push him forward to get him favourite anyway, put it that way. But, look, he could certainly make that step and win, but just on the price, I wouldn't be backing him. The outside trial was really good. Just barrier 10, whether he can get across to either lead or outside lead, and at a tempo that doesn't gas him either. That's the question with him. Although he's starting to get out. I mean, he went up a lot shorter than this. He's out to $8 in places now. If he touches double figures, I'd probably get me in, and I'd just back him and hope. Because, as I say, I was quite taken with that trial win. The other one I don't know what to do with is Sky Command, who rated really well, but it was in its last start win. But it was probably right spot and first use of the very wet track. So whether that, I've got a question mark as to whether that figure's inflated. And at the best of times, I don't really love backing wet track form on dry tracks anyway. So and he's well enough owned by the market at 420 as well. So. Yep, definite betting race for me, certainly in the Congo, and might just save my stake on Mautai if he gets much bigger than $8.
Okay, very nice. A little bit of lining up there in the Rosebud. Race 9 on the card is benchmark 78 over 1,100 metres. 6-gun Fast Coney Hulk, all $5.50. Enfleurage is 6, destination $8.50, out to $10 for Lancaster Bomber. Mark Shean, your thoughts here in race 9?
Yeah, I don't know whose turn it is this week. They seem to take turns, this mob. Yeah. Look, I've come back to Hulk. I don't know. Look, he's had 8 starts at Randwick and yet to win. He has run some good races there. He was just on that bottomless track the other day and backmarkers couldn't make ground. I've landed on him, but I could easily have, back another 2 or 3 in the race. I think on Enfleurage is the big query. I think on best form, certainly right in the mix here, and has had 2 very soft trials recently. So James McDonald booked, just drawn a little bit wide. I don't think 6-gun sets up very well as he did last week, drawn a little bit wider. The other one who could improve his destination, I'm not sure if he's a milk drinker or not, but he gets back on dry ground here, so he could improve. He got a very soft lead in the Wyong trial. They went out very slow in that, so it may have flattered him at Wyong in those trials, but he could certainly improve. So 2 from 3 for me.
Okay, Mark Rhoden, you've been with Hulk a few times previously. You following him up here?
No, well, not at this stage. I've got him about a point longer than the market. I've got him 3rd pick. I think he's a chance, and he'll be a lot better on a dry track. No wins at Randwick, but it should suit him. But he's just got that racing style that always makes it hard for him. I fell into him on the wet track last time, and yeah, he was just never in the race. With the way the track was playing, he had no chance. I'm going with one at the price that Mark mentioned. Gave a little whack to, and he may have a point. It's number 6, Destination, back on the dry. It really is D-Day for him. There might be nothing there with this horse. He might be a myth. But just go back to his last 1,100-metre run on a dry track. It was the second to Wild Ruler, which for a benchmark 78 is really good form. If he runs up to that, he'll just about win. But whether he is a horse with the desire for the contest, that is the jury very much out on that one. But we are getting a price. He's $8.50. So, yeah, just on the grounds that if he runs up to that kind of Wild Ruler form, he's the one to beat. $8.50 will do me. Going to have something, again, at odds, partly speculatively, on number 1, Lancaster Bomber. 2 wins for Nash Willer, who hops back on tomorrow. I like that. He is giving them all weight. Did look at his chance too last start. But at around $10, he'll get me in. On Farage has got the J-Mac on golden system, but I think $5 is about right. Wouldn't be surprised to see it win. Agree that 6 Gun, but the outside barrier was a big plus for it last week. I don't think it's going to be such a big plus tomorrow. And I thought Fast Coney, who's equal second favourite, was just bang in the right spot last time and might have had its birthday, so I could better rank him as well. So, yeah, wouldn't be surprised to see any number of those win, but at the prices going with 6 Destination from 1 Lancaster Bomber.
Okay, very good. That brings us home with race 10, benchmark 78 over 1,300 metres. King's Air, $3.90. Tycoonus, $4.40. Academy is $6.50. You've got Blondo, $7.50. Handspun, $8.50. Everything else is into double figures. Mark Shean, anything in the last for yourself?
Yeah, well, a lot will hinge if Starla runs here for me.
She's out,
sorry?
She's come out already.
She has come out. Okay, good as gold. All right, well, I'm going for Handspun here, number 3. Thought this was a nice pipe opener last time out at Randwick. Steps up to 1,300 metres. Has won 3 of the 4 starts at 1,300 metres. Got good second up form. You'll want to be able to make ground, though. She does get back a little bit in the run. But I just thought she looked a little bit of value in a race where there's plenty of chances here now that Starla's come out. Kingshare is right in the market, but he is a bad beginner. He's got an inside barrier, and 1,300 metres, to my eye, looks to be short of his best distance, so I'm probably going to risk him. I think Tycoonus just should roll forward and get up outside Academy in the lead here and probably gets into a decent spot. He's had all favours 2 runs ago and then trapped wide last start, so he'll put himself into the race, but a bit of value for me, 3 Handspun.
Okay, Mark Rhoden, your thoughts?
Yeah, found this terribly hard. I've ended up with Tycoonist on top, almost by default, I think. I don't think he's any champion. Does have McDonald on, so, if you just want to follow the stats, he's a bet in that on that score, but, yeah, 440 is short enough for me. I've got him, Academy, Kingshare, Londo and Handspun as the 5 main chances, but I couldn't find one to back, to be honest. I think I take most points about Handspun, and it's probably at the it's $8. It's about what I've got. So yeah, I really don't have a bet here. I'd have to go very, very wide, I think, to find a bet here. And if I was taking a quaddie, I'd have to go very wide as well. So look, Tycoonist on top for the record, but no strong opinion.
Okay. That brings us to the end. I'll get your best plays, whether they be best bets, value bets, lay bets. Mark Shean, I'll start with yourself.
I thought Vinciana would be hard to beat in race number 4. I think she'll make her own luck up on the speed. Now she's got back onto dry ground. She was impressive winning on the Kensington last time out, and she was the only winner to stay on the fence all day. So I think if the track is playing towards leaders, I think she'll get a very good chance to win. Slight query on re-edit in that race. Normally sprints well fresh and trial well, but I think Vinciana gets into a nice spot. And I think Starla is another one who's been crying out for dry ground, got back on dryish ground last time out, and she's in race number 6 now with that scratching out of the last. So I thought she had a good chance in race number 6. But Vinciana is certainly my best of the day.
All right, $3.80, freely available. Mark Rhoden, your best on the card.
It was race 4, number 6 in Vinciana for almost identical reasons to what Mark pointed out. I thought I had a little pearl there, saying it was the only winner to lead all the way that day at Kensington, but no, Shean first in, got me just too good as always. But I completely agree. I'll probably save on Matter Attackby in the same race, who was an impressive winner with a big weight from back on the same day, and he's good odds, I think, at $10. Look, I'd make my layer today in the same race. It's a J-Mac on horse, so this is heresy, but the 9 Love Planet's a 330 favourite. Fell in at Sandown last time. The only factor that could get it for me anywhere near its current price is getting McDonald. I think it's rock bottom at 330. So I'll probably be backing in Minciano and Matter Attackby around it. And I thought in race 1, might be having a dream, but what number is it? McDonald's riding this one too. Hot Spring Gold at double figure odds, number 4. I think he needs a big track. His best win was at over 1,400 on a big track, and he gets that set up again tomorrow. He's been on the Kenzo a couple of times. Not sure. I think Randwick should suit him better. And if he can find his best, McDonald rode him last time, but if he can find his best, $14 is too big. There's plenty I don't like in this race. I think Brunelli, Diamonds and Stones, Black Bolt are all just horses. And Larkspur Run's coming off possibly a birthday win on a biased track at Canterbury, although it did rate very well that day. So just by process of elimination, Hot Spring Gold is value in race 1.
All right. Sounds very good to me. Now, we'll talk a few trialers. Mark Shean, anything that's taken your eye over the previous couple of weeks?
There's been a couple. I thought Prime Star's come back in pretty good fashion. He trialled really well a couple of weeks ago, and then again this morning dragged back and was very wide, was under a hole, but made good ground. So both his trials have been encouraging this time. In 4 Moves Ahead was another very impressive trial this morning. Of course, Stay Inside won a trial, but we saw Farnan do the same thing and come back. So I'd like to see him one more time. There's a couple of unraced ones. There's a Frankel horse that's trained by Mark Noonan called Money from the Sky. It's going to need a bit of ground. It's been dragged out the back in 2 trials and made good ground. I think he's more a 14 to a miler in the early part of his preparation. So I wouldn't be backing him in sprint races, but once he gets up over a bit of ground, another one from the Waller Yard, Able Willie, has caught my eye at the trials as well. I think he's unraced. So a couple of those, probably at the midweeks or the provincials, Money from the Sky or Able Willie, but certainly Prime Star and 4 Moves Ahead have trialled really well recently.
All right, beautiful. Thank you very much for that. That's a few to put into the black book for the punters at home. Guys, all the best over the weekend. Go well on the punt, and we'll catch up next week to preview next Saturday's meeting.
Okay, thank you.